Today, we are checking out every anime studio explained in 17 minutes. Now, I know a lot of anime studios, right? Like, I can see the thumbnail here, and I recognize all of these. I literally know all of these studios. But what I don't know is their history, like how they were founded, maybe what animators are, you know what I mean? Like the things that stand out for them. So this will be an interesting video for me to find out things. And with that said, I want you to click the like button if you enjoy my reaction to this video. Maybe leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and subscribe to the channel for more of these reactions, all right? If I see this video performs well on YouTube, I'll react to more, because apparently there's like 3 parts. This is just the first one. This is the first one that is in 17 minutes. Let's check it out.
Logo reveal. Studio Toei was founded in 1948, making it one of the oldest animation studios.
Toei was founded in 1948? Damn!
And it's responsible for some of the biggest anime ever, like Dragon Ball, One Piece, Sailor Moon, and much, much more. Because they've been around for so long, they have a history that I can't entirely cover, but I'll try. Toei actually helped popularize trends like magical girls with Sailor Moon, or Super Mecha with Mazinger Z, and Toei Animation can generally be a mixed bag. Because they take on so many projects and have many different teams working on different productions, the quality can vary wildly. If you see that Toei is animating something,
Episode 1 could look like that, and episode 201 could look like that. Really? I don't know about that.
You should check the actual staff involved with that series, and that usually is a better indicator of the actual quality that series will have. I mean, just look at the inconsistency in One Piece. Some of the episodes are jaw-dropping, but some are just like, eh. But one of the best things about Toei Animation is that their workers are unionized. Meaning that they are generally treated
Hayao Miyazaki. Why do I recognize that name? Oh, it's the Ghibli guy. Oh, the Ghibli guy. Okay. All right. Cool. Like I said, I don't know anything about animation studios. You can't get mad at me. Cop out.
amazingly compared to other anime studios. From what I understand, working on One Piece is a pretty smooth and positive experience. Studio Madhouse was founded in 1970.
That was it. That's it. We just found out when they were founded, and then that their animation kind of varies, and then they're unionized. Summary of Toei.
And is well regarded in the anime community for their sheer quantity of quality shows that they produce. This is mainly because the former founder and CEO, Masao Maruyama, had connections to people like Satoshi Kon, Mamoru Hosoda, and Masaki Yuasa, some of the best anime directors, and they were able to consistently pump out bangers. They've made a ton of insanely high quality projects like Perfect Blue, Death Note, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, and even just recently
One Punch Man, the good season.
Frieren. Unfortunately, in 2010, a big split happened between Madhouse, and they lost a lot of their core staff. In addition, Maruyama left to make Mappa, which really hurt Madhouse in the long run. We'll get to that later. But surprisingly, they seem to have rebuilt themselves, and it looks like they are still capable of pumping out amazing shows while still grabbing industry veterans, as shown with Frieren. Honestly, I doubt that fact will change in the future because of their legacy. However, just like other anime studios, Madhouse has had problems with overworking their employees. In 2019, a production assistant said that he worked over 393 hours
in a month. What is it? How many
month? That's
how many hours are there?
And he ended up joining a.
Okay, you didn't tell me how many hours are in a month. 393. That's more than half of the time of a month. That's more than half of the time of a month. Holy shit. I just bit my tongue when I said shit. That's why you didn't hear the t sound, because I was biting my tongue, and it hurts now. And I'm going to do my best not to cry in front of you all. If you want to see me cry, go check out some of my reactions to like Look Back or Made in Abyss, or maybe my K-drama reactions. Plenty of crying there. But my tongue really hurts right now.
A union to actually sue Madhouse for the overtime. Studio Ghibli is probably the most widely recognized anime studio in the world, and that's for good reason. Only 2 anime movies have ever won Oscars, and
I know that chubby rabbit from somewhere. That's funny.
Both belong to Spirited Away and The Boy and the Heron, respectively. In 1985, Miyazaki and Takahata.
Spirited Away, still my favorite movie of all time. Spirited Away is the only Ghibli movie I cannot rewatch. I'm 99% sure that as a kid, I watched Howl's Moving Castle and Princess Mononoke as well as Spirited Away, and Ponyo. Those are the only 4. Oh, and Kiki's Delivery Service. Those are the only 5 Ghibli movies I've seen. I have not rewatched any of those movies since I initially saw them. I have not seen any of them after 2010. All of those are like way earlier in my life. Like around the time I watched Spirited Away is when I also watched Princess Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle. And I watched Ponyo when it came out because I think it came out later. And I also watched Kiki around the time of Spirited Away. Spirited Away, I've probably seen minimum 10 times since the first time I seen it. I've rewatched that thing so many times. I absolutely love that movie so much. Not gonna lie, maybe Spirited Away is my least liked Ghibli movie. Yeah, so that is what we call being a hipster or just being a contrarian, right? You don't want to like the things that everyone else likes. And so you try to justify it by making it seem like it is not good. You try to nitpick at things, but you won't nitpick at the things that are less popular. Yeah. Is it the greatest movie of all time? Anime movie of all time? I don't know. Moving on.
Broke off from Toei Animation to form Ghibli, along with Toshio Suzuki. It is worth noting that Hayao Miyazaki is pretty much the face of Studio Ghibli. Every work with his name attached seems to garner a ton more attention. Also, if you're wondering why a lot of his movies feature airplanes and casualties of war, his brother's company actually manufactured rudders for planes in World War II. Kind of explains why The Wind Rises was made. After writing his breakthrough manga, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, he ended up directing Ghibli's first ever movie, an adaptation of that same manga, and it was a huge success.
Oh, he wrote a manga? Oh, shit. I did not know that. Wow.
And this kickstarted the studio's legacy. Ghibli in general is known for their high-quality animation, background art, and extremely memorable music by Joe Hisashi. Ghibli films are mostly hand-drawn, using watercolor and acrylic paints, and most of their movies use traditional animation methods, where each frame is drawn and colored by hand. Because of this, their movies give off almost a cozy European vibe that have a lot of emphasis on the nature and backgrounds in each scene. I mean, seriously, look at the backgrounds in Ghibli films. They look amazing. People.
All right, how dare you disrespect Disney? Also, Disney hate is so weird, bro. People that just hate Disney, I don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. Y'all definitely didn't grow up with this shit in your childhood then. That's the only explanation. I just don't understand why everybody hates Disney. Now, if you want to hate Disney because nowadays they're DEI, which is such a fucking stupid thing, but whatever, then, you know, that is what it is. But this idea that, like, Disney is the worst thing ever, just because I don't get it. I just don't honestly get it. Modern Disney sucks? Really? How modern are we talking? That's like 10 years ago. So only things made in the last 5 years. What about Inside Out 2? Y'all didn't like that? Encanto, didn't that do well? Didn't people like Encanto? I never seen it. Damn, I haven't seen like any of these movies since 2020. That's crazy, bro. But I feel like the Disney hate started before 2020. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, I just don't get the Disney hate. It's weird.
People usually regard Spirited Away or Totoro as their best work, as they have the most critical acclaim and popularity.
Oh, I think I've seen My Neighbor Totoro as well. Maybe. Honestly, maybe not. I might not have ever seen My Neighbor Totoro. I might just feel like I've seen it because it's My Neighbor Totoro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of Totoro, and I think I can only think of, like, still images, which means I must have only seen, like, screenshots. I know I've definitely seen the ones that I mentioned before, though.
Personally, I think Howl's Moving Castle, Grave of the Fireflies, and Princess Mononoke are their best works. Wit Studio is a new studio founded in 2012 by Production IG. The studio is
I knew it was under Production IG. I said this to you guys before. Remember when I was like, I know things about studios. I know that MAPPA broke off of Madhouse. I know that Wit Studio is under Production IG. And that was literally all that I said because I guess that's all I knew.
Essentially created for their first project, Attack on Titan. Yes, literally one of the best anime of all time was Wit Studio's first project. And they are also responsible for some of the biggest anime, like Spy Family and Vinland Saga's first season. Wit Studio is known for their amazing action sequences.
The people that worked on the first season of Vinland Saga worked on the second too, for the most part, right? So it's kind of like both seasons when you think about it, but I guess it got moved to MAPPA, whatever. Basically, that whole team moved. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
And a lot of this can be attributed to Tetsuro Araki. The action and pacing he gave to Attack on Titan's first few seasons has created some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. They've also reportedly started work on a One Piece reboot, which is low-key crazy considering One Piece hasn't even finished, but whatever. On one hand, it's insane to think that they're working on so many projects, but on the other hand, this is the anime industry, so we can imagine what these animators are actually going through. And
I want to watch the
One
Piece
with Naganuma, a staff member at Studio Wit. When they asked about his experience, he said it's a battlefield. Basically, what you see on Attack on Titan is what I see at Studio Wit. One comrade falls after another. What is going on at Studio Wit? Apparently the default lunch of Studio Wit members is energy bars, and they all magically revive after eating one and then go back to work. Yeah, I hope they're exaggerating because that sounds pretty horrible, not gonna lie. Sunrise Studio was founded in 1972.
Sunrise is the Gundam
revolutionized
studio.
how anime was made. Instead of having a production revolve
Whoa, they changed the anime production process?
around a single person, they created the role of producers who invested in anime together to mitigate risk. This helped them create many classics like Cowboy.
They're responsible for the producers? Are they responsible for production committees that fuck seasons, that fuck anime? Wow. Wow, dude. Wow. I didn't know Sunrise did Cowboy Bebop. Is it crazy that for some reason I thought Cowboy Bebop was done by Madhouse?
Bebop, Pat Labor, Code Geass, and of course,
I've never heard of Pat Labor in my life.
Gundam series. They've also formally been renamed to Bandai Namco Filmworks, but I'm gonna keep calling them Sunrise.
Oh shit! Wait, Sunrise is Bandai Namco? Holy shit!
As a studio, they're well known for their fluid animation sequences, which gave them the nickname Sunrise Smooth. Honestly, fire cocktail. Like Toei, because they are so big, they have a ton of smaller teams simultaneously working on their projects. And because of that, it's also a mixed bag. Sunrise as a studio is hugely influential. I mean, just take a look at how popular Gundam as a series is. A lot of that can be attributed to Sunrise's great anime adaptations of the franchise. In addition, they produce a ton of great classics and have the name recognition to pull in industry veterans. And that's not the only genre that they've revolutionized.
That's fair.
Love Live was created by Sunrise Studio as well, and has pretty much made anime idol girls that much more popular. And in terms of working conditions, it seems that Sunrise is pretty good and treats their full-time employees well. Studio Gainax was
Treats their full-time employees well.
founded in 1984 and used to be considered the GOAT of anime studios.
Yeah, Gainax is the fucking Ava Studio.
First big commercial success is considered to be Gunbuster, which is still a widely influential anime, but they would end up making something that was even greater. One of these university students who founded Studio Gainax was named Hideaki Anno, and he would head Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is one of the most influential anime of all time, and is widely considered to be the studio's best and most popular work. And it allowed the studio to keep making great projects. Shows like Karekano, Fooly Cooly, and Gurren Lagann are results of these, and arguably
love Gurren Lagann, absolutely amazing. Never seen Fooly Cooly.
Some of the best anime to ever be created.
Or this thing, the His and Her Circumstances.
The reason Gainax shows are so good is because they're so creative. And a part of this idea is something called the Gainax ending, where a Gainax show will end kind of unexpectedly or weirdly. Either this is done out of an artistic or creative decision, or sometimes it's just done to meet deadlines. But the Gainax ending is no...
Yeah. The one thing I know about Evangelion, this is the one thing I know about Evangelion, is the fucking everyone's clapping at the end. Oh, and the opening now, after seeing a million times, seeing this opening all over the place.
But unfortunately, Gainax didn't last forever. Studio Trigger was founded by former Gainax staff members Hiroki Imaishi and Masaki Otsuka in 2011, and it definitely feels like it's carried on that creative spirit that Gainax had. They immediately came out swinging with series like Kill la Kill and movies like Little Witch Academia.
I know that.
Gurren Lagann, one of Gainax's later works, definitely served as the core
What's it called? Little Witch Academia,
inspiration for a lot of Trigger's early works. Trigger is also known for their crazy plot lines and fluid visuals, both of which complement each other perfectly. Their storytelling is often chaotic and comedic at the same time, which helps their exaggerated animations sell that much more. If you want a good example of some of their recent works, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was absolutely amazing, and Dungeon Meshi is looking to be a more grounded but still action-packed
Dungeon Meshi
show. Mappa is one of the most well-known animation studios today for their amazing work on shows like Jujutsu Kaisen.
They just talked about
founded in 2011 by seasoned anime producer Masayo Maruyama after he left Madhouse. Due to his connections, Mappa was immediately interconnected with the anime industry. But in 2016, Maruyama left and was replaced by Manabu Utsuka, which resulted resulted in huge changes to the company's culture and goals. Mappa as a studio now more has a reputation of being very reckless. They've grown extremely fast due to taking on a bunch of projects and still being able to deliver quality animation. But of course, we talk about anime, we have to talk about their work practices and how they get that quality animation in the first place. Everything from the scheduling, the work hours, and even the culture has been criticized at Mappa. This became a
I did not know Buddy left Madhouse to start Mappa, and then he left Mappa or got forced out or whatever. Holy shit.
trending topic during Jujutsu Kaisen's second season. Animators on Twitter revealed that their time at Mappa was horrible. One person who worked on the final part of Attack on Titan said that they finally got to go home after 3 days. Like, Mappa, what are you doing to the animators? Let them out, please. Unfortunately, Mappa has zero to little reason to stop their practices because the properties that they're adapting are some of the biggest in the world, like Vinland Saga Season 2, Chainsaw Man, and Attack on Titan. They also have a ton of connections within the industry, and that's why they're able to get so many talented animators in their studio despite the horrible pay and working conditions. I only hope that it can get better because Mappa is truly working these animators.
If anything, pay the motherfuckers, you know what I mean? If you're gonna work them crazy hours, pay them.
Into the ground. Kyoto Animations, also known as KyoAni, is very different from Mappa, and it's considered to be the gold standard of workplace culture for anime studios. Founded in the city of Kyoto in 1985, the married couple Yoko and Hideki Hata have, in my research, always fostered a great work culture. And unlike other studios, KyoAni employees are salaried and not freelancers. In addition, they even have training programs for young animators to work underneath supervisors and learn throughout their career. You might be surprised to hear that most animators aren't even technically full-time employees, but yeah, that is the industry standard. But KyoAni is very different. They have full-time employees that even get benefits like maternity leave, which is insanely good and almost unheard of in the anime industry. Now, why are they able to afford all of this? Well, usually anime studios make very little money, even if their anime does really well. The reason for this is that anime studios don't really fund anime themselves. Production committees do. Depending on the studio and the amount of producers involved, the amount of money that the studio actually sees
KyoAni produces their own shit?
anime can be pretty variable. Mappa, for example, doesn't usually keep a large slice of the pie. KyoAni, on the other hand, he has a huge slice when they produce anime. But why is there a difference? The reason is very unique to KyoAni. In 2009, they started hosting the annual Kyoto Animation.
Oh, this is something I'm kind of aware of, right? The people that, like, for example, they basically, what I'm thinking of right now is Violet Evergarden and Sound Euphonium. They won an award and basically were chosen to have the stories adapted. So I guess they had the rights to it or some shit.
Awards in 3 categories: original novels, manga, and scenarios. And a lot of their biggest work have come from these contests. The most notable ones being Chunibyo or Violet Evergarden.
Chunibyo is from this shit too?
Or even free. This means that even if the anime doesn't do amazing, they still make a majority of the revenue from that anime because they are licensing those projects. And because KyoAni doesn't have this pressure of external producers, they can also take way longer to work on their anime. That's why when you watch our shows like Violet Evergarden or Hibiki Euphonium, you can see the love and care in every single shot. I mean, come on, genuinely, look at this animation. This is some of the best animation that the medium has to offer, and all the employees were treated fairly. It's the best of both worlds. Their work culture and business model has been very successful, and I hope the best for them, and I hope...
Well, admittedly, this is like animation. Is this this is an episode. This shit looks like a fucking trailer.
Best of both worlds. Their work culture and business model has been very successful, and I hope the best for them, and I hope
it's
more
like,
anime studios...
it's a trailer. It's not like the actual show.
To move in this direction. And they're also known for making...
But Violet Evergarden does look amazing. I will say that. By the way, I do want to make that known. Violet Evergarden's amazing. I personally love the show. I've never cried my fucking eyes. That's not true. I've cried my eyes out to a few things, but episode 10, right? Is that the episode with the letters? That episode is destructive. I love Violet Evergarden. It's a phenomenal series.
People cry. I mean, if you watch Clannad or Canon,
Clannad
you know that shit makes you cry, man. A1 Pictures was created by a former Sunrise staff producer in 2005, and they're pretty interesting because their works are very variable in terms of animation.
A1 Pictures animating the Persona 3 movies, A1 Pictures animating Persona 5 the animation. Are they very different? Quality.
Usually depends on if the project has the budget and if the production schedule itself is good, but they are well known in the anime community for consistently releasing a ton of anime, more specifically light novel adaptations. A lot of these don't really hold up in the long term, although it's not to say that they never release good looking shows. You know, Sword Art Online, Solo Leveling, and Kaguya-sama all look really good, but at the same time their releases include Eromanga Sensei, which is like Also, in 2018, a section of A1 Pictures broke off into Cloverworks Studios, which is still managed by the same Aniplex parent company, but tends to have a much higher benchmark.
Oh, I did not know Cloverworks is like a byproduct of A1.
Animation quality within their shows. It's also worth noting that A1 Pictures has a pretty bad reputation of overworking their employees. In 2014, a 28-year-old employee at A1 Pictures worked over 600 hours a month for 3 years and ended up committing suicide. This has forever stained their reputation. Shame on you, A1 Pictures. Science Saru was founded in 2013 by famous anime
Hopefully they changed the way that they do things after that. Like, what the fuck?
Director Masaki Yuasa and animator Science Choi, who had a long history with Yuasa. Their first work as a studio was actually an episode of Adventure Time, but their first series was Ping Pong the Animation. In addition, they don't really care about the nationality of their employees, instead choose them based on their skill. This means that a ton of Science Saru employees aren't even Japanese. As a studio, Science Saru is known for being out of the box. They experiment with really insane color palettes and are not afraid to push the envelope with
That's Devilman Crybaby. Never seen Devilman Crybaby, but I need to.
Series like Devilman Crybaby, which has tons of gore, gay sex scenes, and a whole lot more that I can't show. A lot of their weird energy does come from Masaki Yuasa, but Science Saru recently released Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is just as weird despite not being directed by Yuasa at all. If you want some more Science Saru recommendations, I would highly recommend Devilman Crybaby, Ping Pong the Animation, and Keep Your Hands Up Azuki.
Seen it, haven't seen either of these, but I need to one day. Hopefully one day I watch Ping Pong the Animation and Devilman Crybaby.
Also, watch out for Dandadan, which is coming out soon and is
already seen it. So this is an
really
old
excited
video.
For this one. Studio Shaft was founded in 1975 and are known for their experimental visual styles. Some popular example of Shaft anime are Madoka Magica or the Monogatari series. You can immediately tell that you're watching a Studio Shaft production due to the work of directors Akiyuki Shinbo, Shino Onuma, and Tatsuya Oishi, who formed what is known as Team Shinbo. This Team Shinbo led to very distinct stylistic ideals with whatever project that they were working on. Sometimes they would use sharp color contrast, high-paced jump cuts, and even place real-world objects within the animation itself. All of this gives Studio Shaft anime a really surrealist
Damn, them
feeling,
titties bouncing.
which I think is super cool. The Monogatari series also features iconic moments like the Shaft head tilt, which is actually confirmed by Team Shinbo to be a Studio Shaft staple. Although Shaft has lost a lot of their core staff over time, including the disbandment of Team Shinbo, they still produce popular shows like March Comes In Like a Lion and Quintessential Quintuplets. UFO table?
Dude, I need to watch March Comes In Like a Lion.
Ufotable was founded in 2000 by Hikaru Kondo after he split from Telecom Animation Film. They're well known for their strong relationship with the game company Type Moon, and they've adapted a ton of their games, like the Fate series and Garden of Sinners, as well as working with them to create animations for their in-game cutscenes. Ufotable is most notable for their incredibly vibrant and colorful animation. As I'm sure many of you have seen with Demon Slayer, arguably Ufotable is the best studio in the industry at combining 3D computer graphics with traditional 2D sakuga. Like KyoAni, Ufotable hires a lot of their employees full-time and is regarded as one of the better animation companies to work for. I'm not really sure where they're getting all that money from, but wait a second, they committed tax fraud? Yeah, this is something that I actually didn't know about until I made this video, but
yeah, also Type Moon. Gotcha money. It's crazy. But yeah, this is probably the biggest one. Tax evasion. That's an easy way to keep money.
Apparently, Hikaru Kondo refused to pay around $4 million in taxes. And also, the Japanese government made a report noting that Ufotable was suspected of misappropriating funds from a charity auction for the 2011 Tohoku earthquake. They never ended up filing charges, but Kondo resigned. And because of this, he is now facing up to 20 months in prison. Top G move, if you ask me. Studio Bones was founded in 1988 by former Sunrise staff members who were bored of working in mecha anime and wanted to try more creative projects. Studio Bones is most well known for their insanely well executed fight and action sequences. In fact, you could argue that they have some of the best 2D sakuga in the industry right now. A huge reason that they're known for this is because of Yutaka Nakamura, known as one of the GOATs in animation. He's popularized techniques like the Yutapon cube, which is where debris forms cubes to
this is the cube guy? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm very aware of the cube guy. I know that there's an animator that's like, he's the cube guy.
in animation. He's popularized techniques like the Yutapon cube, which is where debris forms cubes to show the destruction. You can see the influence of Yutapon cubes across the industry. I mean, even in The Legend of Korra, I've seen Yutapon cubes made for debris. And even now, Nakamura continues to innovate at Bones. Because of this, they've created some absolute bangers over
Mob
the years,
Psycho's
like Cowboy Bebop the
peak,
movie, the Full Metal Alchemist series, Mob Psycho 100, or on High School Host Club, My Hero Academia, I mean much more. Just go through Bones' catalog, it is impeccable. Studio Orange was the movie, the Full Metal Alchemist series, Mob Psycho 100, or on High School
Is Oran High School Host Club that good?
Host Club, My Hero Academia, I mean much more. Just go through Bones' catalog, it is impeccable. Studio Orange was founded by 3D CG animator Eiji Inomoto
People love
in
it?
2004, who is well known for his works on Ghost in the Shell and Zoids, specifically the 3D animation part. The studio mainly did outsource 3D animation until 2013, when they started doing co-production with other studios to make shows like Black Bullet. But then Orange started making completely new anime, with shows like Land of the Lustrous being met with great critical reception for actually having good CG. Studio Orange is so unique in their approach to 3D animation that
This is literally the reputation of Orange. Orange is literally the good 3D CG studio.
I can genuinely tell that they understand the strengths of CG and how to play into them. Usually in 2D anime, CG is just kind of thrown in there.
God, that is why. Please, 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 please. Somebody make a good Berserk adaptation.
When an object is difficult to animate, and it doesn't usually blend all that well. Meanwhile, Studio Orange makes sure that all of their models feel like they are genuinely alive instead of just stiff figurines. The character expressions genuinely feel magical and alive, almost Disney-like, but with that anime touch. And this is because they don't shy away from using 2D animation to first sketch out what the facial expressions might look like. Using both mediums like this results in a product that is greater than the sum of its
I didn't know
parts.
that.
And you can see this clearly in their newest series, Trigun Stampede, where Vash's facial expressions and movements just feel so fluid and alive. I genuinely love them. Their 3D animation doesn't make me gross out or wish that the studio had more budget to just make it 2D instead, because the anime
Forever the
genuinely
meme
looks
of bad
better in
CG.
3D, and I think it's a sign of more 3D animation to come.
That is fucking phenomenal, dude. That was beautiful. Listen, if you want me to react to part 2, then click the like button. Leave a comment because that stuff helps with the algorithm and recommends this to other people so they can enjoy it as well. Subscribe to the channel for more. Why not? I actually did learn new things. I thought I knew a lot about animation studios, and I guess I kind of do a little bit, but not nearly as much as I thought. On Saturdays, currently during this anime season, I don't know how it'll be during summer, because summer anime season, there's like fucking 50 anime that I need to watch. There's so many good ones coming in summer. But in the summer, we'll have a day, probably not Saturdays, but we will have a day where I react to YouTube videos for any of the channels. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you join my Twitch streams, all right? Twitch.tv/ShowFresh. This link for that's down in the description. And you can hit me with a follow over there, maybe stop by sometime. Till next time, make sure you all keep it fresh. Peace.